The following video was translated by AI. This is why we will sound a little bit stupid here and there, and our mouth movement won't be perfect every time. But thank you for watching. I hope you have great fun.
Today we're not talking about the set, about waste. We're busy making part 2s again for our Bricklink sellers. If you're one of them and you want an automated part 2, then just drop us a message. But it's been noticed that all the new sets now come with paper bags. That's different from before. And we need to talk about those today. So let's put the set aside and talk about the new paper bags. I've got a lot of waste here, Max. So you're standing next to me, but I also have a lot right here in my hand. Great. Yeah. Spill it out. That's actually quite a lot. How many sets were there? I think there are 9 now. But we have now exported 20 times in this area. I didn't get all of them out, but we have some issues with these paper bags. Because the thing is, a lot of plastic was used in the past. But this paper has a few downsides. Even though Lego mentions a few advantages, let's start with what Lego says about why it's so great that we now have paper bags. So why is it so great? Yeah, we're super eco-friendly now. So right here, we're not greenwashing. No, not at all. So we have paper bags that are made of 95% paper.
And what kind of wood is it? What is being used for that? FSC-certified wood, which is renewable and great.
Exactly. Certification just means that the resources being used have that certification. Of course, they will come shopping again and stuff, but basically positive. So it has to, that sounds great at first. You said 95%.
What? So what are the other 5? What?
Yeah, I can tell Lego isn't quite so sure about that. So otherwise, it doesn't have to be online what exactly it is. But we can clearly see inside, there's a film in there.
So we don't just see it, we feel it too. And why is the film in there? You might hear it too. For example, I'm not tearing paper right now, but I'm tearing the adhesive or the sealed strip of plastic.
So definitely the main reason, they need it, of course, so they can seal it and use welding machines for this plastic insert. I also found 2 more sources where they say what they need. On one hand, so that the stones stay bling bling. On the camel's phone like that. We're not cutting anything here. The second reason is that the stones inside are also protected for the environment. And thirdly, the paper bag is supposed to be more stable because paper alone wouldn't be stable enough. At least that's what the sources say for some. Now we have 95% paper, 5% plastic. Basically, it's not really a big deal. Let's just separate it. I saw you tried.
Yeah, when I buy meat at the butcher's, it's usually wrapped in paper and then in a thin layer of plastic. And what do I do at home? I can pull the 2 apart, add one to paper and the other to plastic. Yellow bin, blue bin, everything's great here in Bavaria. But here, I'm fiddling with it. What is that? That's a composite material. You can take it apart pretty quickly.
What?
But I thought we're being more recyclable now, and we used paper, and that's so much fuller.
Yeah, so according to German law, that's how it is. So, no legal advice here anyway. We just informed ourselves a little bit. According to German law, if you have paper that consists of 95% paper, it can have 5% foreign materials and still go in the blue bin here in Bavaria. And we also called our local service provider. He wasn't so sure about it. He said he would get back to us. Let's quickly show the phone call and a short clip. Of course, we'll anonymize the one who made the call. But for yourselves, we have a lot of composite packaging made of paper with plastic. And the question is whether those that consist of 95% paper and 5% plastic coating inside can be recycled in the blue bin. German art in a plastic context. Exactly, they have new packaging that's being delivered right now of plastic. And now it's official. Lego writes 95% paper, 5% plastic. Not further defined. Just looked online to see what the rules say. But Lego itself says you should check with your local waste disposal company. That's why I just wanted to ask what you think about this.
No, I'll pass it on.
Great. Thank you.
Everything's there.
So Kimmel, we'll get back to you after the edit. So I just spoke with the waste management consultant, and while it's not entirely clear, yes, the colleague we talked to yesterday has instructed his boss again, and they told us he unfortunately can't make any statements.
Great, right? So it's nice that the official waste management from our local provider can't give us an official statement. Just a personal opinion.
Yeah. This just shows me again, it's difficult. And here Lego is really in a tough spot, saying, hey, this is how you should handle it. Lego says, hey, check with your local resources. We called exactly where you can get local information, the ones responsible for us.
And what did they say? The manufacturer should say how it should be officially disposed of, not the local waste management.
Exactly. We only got a personal opinion from the waste consultant, which isn't legally binding and doesn't really help at all. He thinks if it's mostly paper, then it should go with the paper. But it wasn't satisfying. It's not that easy. A lot of people are confused. And what does it say on the Lego website? Because they made it. They should know how to handle it.
Well, can't tell you. So Lego says we can't tell you what to do with it. Ask your local waste provider. Oh, thanks, Lego.
Oh, we did that. Oh, it did?
Yeah, it didn't work.
It's working. He wasn't sure.
But the nice thing is, they can't just say it for the whole world now. I read that in a Reddit post. Yeah, it's clear. They can't do that for everyone. It's all different in every country and every region. What we think is that they can manage the prices somehow so they can handle it differently for each region, for each part of the world, with different tax rates and different imports. Why can't they just tell me how to dispose of it differently? They also manage to create instructions in any language you want. No? Yeah, they can do that, but unfortunately they can't easily clarify that online. Officially or according to the park guidelines, it should be recyclable for the USA and EU. What makes me a bit suspicious is that US packaging should actually state what it is. There are special symbols where you can see, yeah, this is the material, and this material, and this material. Found them.
Where, and on the complete packaging, the Lego bricks, we have symbols for France, Italy, what I see. And I think that's the information you want, right?
No idea.
Possible.
Yeah, but that's on the packaging. That's not for the packaging.
It says cardboard, plastic packaging, and instructions. Here, according to France, Italy, it's recyclable.
But today, not there. You can see that close, but you can also see the types of plastic that are actually used. 2021, 23, whatever that means. Let's briefly show what that officially means, this symbol. And there's the FSC symbol, the certification that the packaging is a mix. When I think about the old plastic bags, they were really easy to recycle. I'm looking so far away right now. I'll just grab a bunch. Right now, we're busy unpacking advent calendars.
The queens know that. It's pre-produced camel. We're not doing that. Those are the bags from the day.
Exactly. So you can see completely normal old packaging now. Was that even recyclable? When I used to have the green dot here, I just took it. The yellow bin with the green dot. Isn't this nicer for recycling than this?
Yes, so of course there are 2 points of view. On one hand, recyclability and whether it really gets recycled. But yeah, it's much easier to recycle. In the end, we know. Many things that can be recycled still get burned. So I also read about this in the area of waste incineration, where it's used. But basically, it's much easier to recycle than this paper. The composite materials in here make it harder to reuse long chain paper fibers. Normally, depending on the source, you can recycle paper about 25 times, depending on how it's separated from each other. The more foreign substances there are, the harder it gets, because you have to chemically remove this film, and then these long fibers can also get damaged. The shorter the fibers, the worse they are for recycling. That's probably only going to become cardboard at most, 2001, because it's not as high quality anymore.
What happens if I just throw this in the corner of my garden? And what happens to it if I throw it in the corner of the garden?
It's really easy to say that because we don't know exactly what kind of plastic this is. According to Lego sources, it should be completely biodegradable.
I think the only source I found on that was on Reddit, and it was probably just a fanboy claiming it's made from wood fibers. I think with a bit of plastic-like stuff added, or wood fibers or something like that.
But it was often referred to as wood fibers. So most of this here, Lego itself calls it plastic. Exactly, Lego itself calls it plastic, and we have to take that at face value. The other one doesn't make sense. But that won't break down. Never. I don't know what kind of plastic it is. So if it were ABS, you'd have to wait about 1,500 years at most. At least paper will go a lot faster now. 2001. That really has to go in the yellow bin. That there. At least what we currently know can go in the blue bin. But whether it's really recyclable or just downcycled into a worse composite material, don't know. And the real question is it more sustainable than it used to be? Many would now say, no, this is pure greenwashing that Lego is doing. That's just to improve the brand. That's exactly the same topic here. We're making 2 building blocks from natural raw materials and respect.
Can I put that in the yellow bin too?
Not that I know paper goes in the yellow bin and it's 95% paper.
So that means if I'm not sure, it's actually residual waste. Yeah, we're going to clarify again whether it really can go in the blue bin, because as I said, our colleague on the phone wasn't sure himself. He sounded more like a no, in my opinion. But when I look at this pile, guys, I mean, they're not the same bags now, but the amount has definitely increased a lot. When I compare that to the bags now, I could have crumpled them up nicer, so I could use them much more compactly. That means we have a lot more material being moved here. We need more raw materials. As sad as it is, in the end we have higher transport costs because the material is just much heavier. 2001. And also in disposal, it's much more complicated now. So even if you said that was 10 sets?
I think that's 9 sets now.
Yeah, that's how it is. When I look at it like this, if you take that as residual waste from a normal single-family household, then the residual waste bin is almost full.
Yeah. Who set up the new set at the same time? Nobody does that. Camel. Even we don't do that. We have a one after the other. But I want to briefly move away from this whole ecological aspect and mention another point that I have a problem with. It's like this. We sort automatically. Tearing open the set, that's something no machine does. That's always done by people. And because there's a stone in the stub here, I only know once. I've held it up to the light, and often there are stones in there, so with the transparent films, it has also happened that a stone gets stuck. Unfortunately, they get stuck here just as often as in the plastic bags, so it doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes yes, but you just can't see it. That means you really have to be very, very careful to get all the stones out. One can easily get lost there. That's just one downside. I see when dealing a lot with these paper bags.
But when the stones are stuck in the corners of the plastic bags, you also had a hard time seeing them. But when you were looking for your part, you took the plastic bag. Ah, yes, there it is, right? And you just can't see that at all with the paper bags. You can't tell if you've really gotten them out. Exactly. Unless you look inside. But that's not the case either. It's just in the corners. Or if you look inside, it doesn't help you at all. That means you need studio lighting to see it shine through.
Yeah, I just held it up against the ceiling light. That worked completely fine.
Did it then catch fire? Because that might also be a factor. Paper, heat from the light, if you can hold it up against the ceiling lights.
I wasn't that close, luckily.
1000. Got an easel or ladder. He has to warm up in winter. I understand the plastic smell in our office now.
He climbed up. And yeah, somehow he has to warm up in the cold winter.
I also understand the plastic smell in our office now.
It wasn't the Lego bricks. I have another historical fact about the paper bags. They were first seen in 2021, specifically in the employee set for Christmas. That was 2001, a small temple that looked kind of Chinese. That was the first time they were in there. And Lego says by 2025, they want to fully switch to these paper bags. So switching, I believe they can do it. We see it very, very often in the new sets. But there are still plastic bags in here. So it's not always 100% paper. If we take a look at Flatmobile now, we take out bag 13. Tear it open. Is there paper inside? No, there are plastic bags inside. In this set, bag 13 and bag 11, there are plastic bags inside. In all the others, we have paper bags.
Okay. So I find it strange that even for a production that has switched to paper bags, they still have a mix in there.
Yeah, because of those little bags. Maybe the machines are there that spit out the ones that don't have the new Apple mechanism yet. Unfortunately, we won't know. We haven't seen it at Lego, but that's just something to keep in mind. They still have those old little bags. But as Lego says, it will be happening soon.
I found that very funny. I just watched another YouTuber a few days ago. What did he have? New sets. All the sets that he opened. And he actually wanted to make a video about paper bags. So I got them specifically because of the new sets.
Yeah, here it's like this. Lego is very, very non-transparent. That isn't mentioned beforehand. I don't even know if it's different, whether you get the same set packaged differently from various locations. I can almost imagine it because production didn't switch overnight. They have a starting facility where they begin to rebuild everything. And then it will be rolled out slowly. We know that from our old life. And that's why I would say that it's not always just paper in there. There's often still a bit of plastic in there.
I would really like to do without plastic, although it becomes quite a bit more difficult mechanically. They need that to be able to package it automatically. These are just like the sealing bars you know from home. Vacuum sealers. In that sense, they're nothing more than the sealing strip. And you could also try this at home if you want. Just hold it underneath for a moment, and then the bag will seal itself again. Yeah, it works pretty well.
And the thing is this really a step in the right direction, or is it a step back? I'm really torn about it. I almost feel like this is a step back because we have the whole issue that it's harder to recycle than it was before. It's definitely a brand image issue for Lego. They say, no, we're so green, we're so ecological. But if you really think it through completely and let the circular economy sink in and don't just see it as, okay, this can only be downcycled and not recycled anymore, then it really means you should rather buy used Lego. Do you also find deals with us in the reBricker price comparison? There are also used offers. You could say, if you liked the video, then give it a thumbs up, comment. What do you think of the new packaging? Subscribe to the channel and don't forget the bell. See you next time. Hi.